Okay, Dobrý ráno všetkým. Volám se James Eardley, and now I'm going to go English. It's my second time at OpenSlava, so it's good to be back. It's a great event. From my point of view, just a bit about me. I previously was with Accenture for 10 years, working in Bratislava office for the last 4. In the last few weeks, I've joined Avanade, which isn't that different, as Avanade is owned by Accenture and Microsoft. So I've just changed offices, branded myself a little differently, but I'm still predominantly doing the same thing, which is modern engineering. And so my role title on my email is the modern engineering lead for Europe, for Avanade. And so all I'm going to do is just spend a few minutes really just talking through what my view of modern engineering is and what we're seeing from our clients at the moment. So some of my views are personal to me and not necessarily the company's view, but hopefully I can give you a quick kind of snapshot as to what we're seeing in the market at the moment and what you're going to see as you start to enter the industry. Okay, so you'll be glad to hear I don't have a lot of slides, which is good, because I will try and get you out to lunch as soon as I can. And how do I move this on? Okay. So, I think in the last few presentations we've been talking about time. It's all about time. It's about speeding things up. And I think it's interesting to see that we're now talking in terms of modern engineering, because 10 years ago we didn't really talk about engineering because we didn't want to complicate IT, especially in terms of our clients. We more talked around the business aspect. But now, all my people are engineers. It's complicated work. We need to be able to stitch things together. We need to be able to do lots of complicated things to be able to kind of modernize a lot of the applications that we're working with. From my point of view, when I previously worked in the UK, I was working predominantly for the government. So I was working on some of these large monoliths. I was working on applications that haven't been touched really for 20, 30 years in a lot of cases. My first project was $14 billion. So it gives you an idea as kind of the scale of things that were done at that time. If you now look at how we're doing things now, it's agile. Although agile means different things to different people. Some have wagile, which is basically a bit of waterfall and agile when required. Some are fragile, where they just pick and choose which bits of agile to use. But the nature of it is that it's all about doing speed. It's all about getting things done quickly. Because at the end of the day, when you're talking to some of these clients, they need to do releases more often. You've got Amazon who are doing release every 6 seconds of code. And if you then look at other customers who maybe do a release every 6 months, then they're going to fall behind. And so it's a matter of how they do it. So Agile, DevOps. I've got a team of DevOps people in Bratislava, a team in Bucharest. And they're focused on, again, getting things done quickly, disrupting where possible, but getting it to the point where we can release code a lot quicker and safer. And the way we do that is automating it. We build lightweight architecture. We add accelerators. In a lot of cases, my engineers are just accelerators. They go into our clients and just move things along. They challenge. And so that's it's a fun environment to work. And honestly, for the last few years, it's probably been the most rewarding of my career, because we're able to disrupt. We're able to challenge everything. We're able to go into meetings and say, why are we doing it that way? And that's the thing I would say to everybody now. Always ask why. That's how we can now operate, because challenge the system. Be disruptive. Because at the end of the day, that's going to get you best in class. Because it's always interesting. When we have, you'll see lots of slides with lots of numbers. And whenever we go to our clients and show the numbers in terms of the results that are delivered, they're always kind of 400% improvement, 500% improvement. The reason why is we're automating it. You're going to see those numbers. They're real. And then if you then put that in terms of the monetary value and the value that's being released by the clients, it's huge. And so again, why wouldn't they do it this way? And so if I then bring that to what I'm doing at the moment. So the way that we structure our team is we have studios globally. The reason why is we want the best talent. And as much as I can get talent in Bratislava, there's a point where you can't get enough. We want more and more people. And so, I know in the past we've always talked in terms of offshore, and a lot of it's been cost-driven, but now it's just a matter of I'll go to any centre where there's people who I can bring into the team. And the way in which we look for our people now has changed as well. In the past, we had profiles. So I had a profile for a DevOps engineer. And I had a list of technologies. It had Azure, AWS, it had the various tools. Now my profile literally says I want smart and kind people. Smart as in knowing the new technologies. Kind as in I want people to be able to work in a team. I want people to be able to help each other. I want people to be able to come in and do different roles. Because in the past, you may have had a dev or an ops. Now you've got DevOps. Now you've got DevOps who are also doing testing. Now in terms of my current team, we're also doing a bit of design as well. And that's why we're a studio. So the world is changing. Profiles are changing. I don't even write job descriptions half the time now, because as soon as I do, it's going to change in a week. So it's a fun place to be. And so if you think of the work that we're doing at the moment, the first part of it is going into a client and actually telling them how it is. So you go into a client and they say, oh yeah, we're doing Agile, we're doing DevOps, okay? How often are you releases? Every 3 months. Okay, you're not. And so half of the battle is to actually show them where they are. Because they all want to be the unicorns. Everybody does. But to go from here to there takes years. And it's a whole culture change. And that's why we're talking about modern engineering now, because it's changing the way in which we think. It's changing the way in which we deliver things. And so, if you then look at the clients we work with, it's a broad cross-section across kind of various geographies, and that's why we need to be able to leverage the centres globally. But, I've got colleagues in Australia, so trying to organise calls with Australia, North America, Europe, Philippines, India, it's pretty difficult to get a time zone that works. But that's the nature of the work that we're doing now. I've got teams that I've never actually met yet, but we have video conferencing, so I feel like I know those people. I speak to them on a daily basis. And so it's, again, just changing the way in which we work, changing the way in which we interact together. But yeah, the key to this is, we'll talk today about how we do things. We always focus on money, but I'll leave you with one kind of final story from my point of view. The reason why I do DevOps is my first job was working on hospital systems. And I was just a team lead, I would have been 28, team lead of the apps team for hospital systems. And I had an incident raised one day. And the incident was that a patient had been killed by a defect in the system. My system, the system that I supported. And so, we looked at it, we found the cause of the defect, we fixed it. It took me 6 months to get that into live. Reason being, I had to pass it through various manual testing, I had to send it offshore, I had to spin up environments, physical environments, and so it took us 6 months. So I had 6 months every day thinking, this defect could kill another patient. And so whenever I do DevOps or think about modern engineering, it's not about cost to me. It's about doing the right things so that I never have to have that situation again. So that's a real quick run through of what I do. By all means, grab me at some point today if you want to chat more. And hope you all enjoy your lunch, more importantly. So thank you.